A statement in the affidavit that they submitted to the court that they found on his phone searches and Google Maps searches of that university. Yep. And they can tell if he's searching that, is how much time he spends on the site. And all of those things are part of the investigation. If people would just let them do their job, and if in the court of law with cross-examination, they're not doing their job properly, then let's go after, them and judge them on that.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nissim Black Show. As always, it's a pleasure to see every single one of you. Erica Kirk has been under a lot of stress. I can only imagine that with all the conspiracy theories and everything else that's been going on, it is a big issue. It's a big issue that this widow cannot grieve, that she just cannot grieve. There's been so many conspiracies, and it's not only Candace Owens. There have been many other people out there pushing this rhetoric, not allowing her to get any rest. I think Candace has sort of been spearheading it, but there's been a lot of people that's actually been attacking Erica Kirk, and everybody calling into question all these different conspiracies. What was happening? What was Michael McCoy doing? All these other things. And it's so unfortunate to put a widow through this. And I know, at least as far as Judaism is concerned, the way that we treat widows is with the utmost respect. This is so dangerous in God's eyes. I'm saying it is literally dangerous to be doing this to a widow right now. By the way, I just want to let everybody know, if you happen to be here in Jerusalem, I will be speaking at a tribute for Charlie Kirk with Pastor Rob McCoy, who was Charlie's pastor. He will be in Jerusalem. That will be on November 16th. So if you're here in Jerusalem, please come and check us out. Okay, and I want to get into this other clip. I guess that would be a clip that's sort of debunking a lot of this other rhetoric that's coming, not only, like I said, from Candace, it's coming from a lot of other, creators who have taken it upon themselves to blame Erica Kirk, to blame Mike McCoy, to blame, other people at TPUSA. And it's important for us to see that a lot of these things will fall on their head once Erica just speaks. Once the people at TPUSA just say what it is that they have to say, you'll see it very clearly.
Charlie had been shot.
Was at my mom's doctor's appointment. I have my phone and I see the video come in of him flinging out the hats. And I said, Mom, look, it started. So we saw the hats being flung. I put my phone down and it was on silent, so I had no reason to look back at it. I moved my mom, I went back to grab my phone, and that's when Mikey started calling me. He called me within seconds.
I called Erica. I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Mikey called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot. He's been shot, get the kids. Get security, get the kids, he's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center, just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. Called our security. Yeah. Unbelievable nightmare.
What they were insinuating by this, I should obviously say this, is that they were trying to say that he was already on the phone prior to it actually happening, or that he was complicit somehow, and all these other theories. It just really is ridiculous. And I can't think of anybody else who has probably been more on the sane side of this than my boy Officer Tatum. Brandon Tatum has been the only voice of reason in a lot of things when it comes to Israel, when it comes to America's ties to Israel, and what that means for America spiritually, all these other things. I mean, the brother has just really been on point, and there hasn't been too many people who's been able to articulate these things. There's not been too many people with a platform as big as his, right, to actually sort of say, guys, let's shut this down. I want to show you a recent interview that he actually did on TPUSA, and obviously he's debunking, all these other people, Candace included, all of them are being debunked by what he has to say. And now his background was in police and an investigation. So therefore, the things that he's saying is actually bringing credibility to the case.
Have you ever seen a case where a father turned his own son into law enforcement like this? Because I've been scratching my brain, and that's really not something you see a lot.
Yeah, I've never Now, it could be possible, depending on if the father was involved in something, you know, all of that stuff. But in this case, that's not the case, right? This is not a lover's triangle or something weird situation where the dad is involved in the crime. This is a mom who identified. You got to think the FBI didn't catch him initially. They didn't know who he was.
So for 33 hours, Tyler Robinson is on the loose.
He's on the loose.
And they have these images that come out.
Up. And they're getting tips online, too. People don't understand that. They got 10,000 tips or something like that, which they followed up on. But he's online. He's out there, and they haven't identified him yet. His mother identifies him. She confirms with his father that it's him.
Yeah, so why would your mother turn you in? Why would the father turn you in? I mean, people have to think about all of this, and the things you have to do and the acrobatics and the how much you have to go out of your way to concoct all of these stories that's been going on, along with the fake pictures. I didn't have that clip, but Erica definitely said there's been a lot of fake videos and fake clips, AI stuff that's been going on, and people are using them, commenting on them, saying this just was a different camera angle or whatever. Looks completely different than from what everybody saw or the people that looked saw. Unfortunately, I can't watch these type of things, but it looks completely different than what people saw. And people are buying it. Thank God for Officer Tatum.
The father convinces him to turn himself in. They communicate with the deputy sheriff, a neighbor, who coordinated him to turn himself in without, obviously, the SWAT team coming to his house and doing a dynamic entry. So I find it to be unreasonable to believe that somehow his dad is want to get him the death penalty. For what reason? When you turn your son in knowing that he committed a crime such as this, which is an assassination, an intentional murder, he premeditated it, and he did it for political reasons. When you say, I'm going to turn my son into the authorities, you are turning him in knowing he can get the death penalty. Mm-hmm. No father would do that unless they are pretty confident that their son has done this. Now, according to the FBI, he actually confessed to his parents that he did it. Now, there's a difference between a confession and pleading not guilty in the court of law. A person can confess to their parents, but you can plead not guilty because you want to not, end up getting a death penalty. So in my opinion, I think the fight is not whether he's guilty or not. The fight is to try to not allow him to get the death penalty, which is why they didn't want the cameras in the court, which is why they wanted to dress in plain clothes.
You're making way too much sense.
And by the way, I was making
way too much sense. Way too much sense. And sometimes it's hard for us to just live with the obvious. This is right in front of our face. Everything that took place that night. And that's what I'm saying. Even now, the conspiracy theories have taken such a turn that even the conspiracy theories in themselves, right, have created imaginary things that would never even happen, never took place. Right? Was it on this platform, that platform? Did he break down the gun? He put it in the bag. And all these other stories that have been, coming from all these other people saying, oh, it was officially there in the report. And when you read the report, those things are not actually in there. So it's unfortunate. But the conspiracy theories sometimes, and it's particularly here, we're seeing that they are bringing forth things that never even took place. And people that are listening say, yeah, you're right. That doesn't make sense. Yes, because it's made up. It's made up by these people.
Way too much sense. Brandon Tatum, stop making so much sense.
It's in addition to that, we have that Discord chat that came out where he said, I don't have it in front of me, but it's something to the extent of, hey guys, I don't know if you saw the news, but it was me in Utah.
They had 20 people on their Discord chat, which the FBI is investigating all 20 of them. And the thing is, people don't understand. People don't understand forensics, right? There's a forensic extraction of all the content on Discord from his communication with him, with that chat and every chat he's been on, and all 20 people in every chat that they've been on. Also, the electronic communication between him and his boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it's a boy, the transgender person. The communication that people don't have access to because they showed a synopsis, but they have extracted all the content from his phone and the other guy's phone.
And this is what's important. It's like, that's what I'm saying with the conspiracy. This, how many people have to be complicit in this for this to be as much as they're insinuating? 20 people on a Discord chat. You have all of them, plus the parents and the mother, and according to some, the FBI's in on it, Trump's in on it. This many people that could...
in the relationship. And also, no one, I know that to some people that have never investigated anything, and they say, well, it's kind of confusing the way he's communicating with the transgender person. But unless you have evidence of how he communicates in his other text communication, you cannot make a true judgment on whether or not it's suspicious, him using the word vehicle. And
because you have nothing to compare it with. And we know who said that, by the way, right? We know exactly who he's talking about. But you have nothing to compare it to. What he's saying? You can't say he sounds funny over here. That's not the way people talk. It could be the way that he talks. It could be the way that he talks. And like Officer Tatum said, unless you have evidence that he doesn't talk that way, that you're able to pull out more, extract more messages and see that he completely doesn't sound like that, in other words, it's not his voice, then you can't say that.
Make a true judgment on whether or not it's suspicious, him using the word vehicle and different things of that nature.
Well, and not only that, but you're talking forensics, but that would also go. And my experience is more OCONUS, right? Because as an intel officer, but it's a lot of the same metadata, the same electronic collection that we'd be using. So they could track his cell phone, and if he had gone to that, and there's this new witness that's come out that said they spotted someone on that roof. I think it was a week prior, and of course they're going to do with that cell phone, track the forensics. Okay, did he go a week prior? Was that him?
They made a statement in the affidavit that they submitted to the court that he did. They found on his phone searches and Google Map searches of that university.
Yep.
And they can tell if he's searching that, it's how much time he spends on the site. And all of those things are part of the investigation. If people would just let them do their job. And if in the court of law with cross-examination, they're not doing their job properly, then let's go after, them and judge them on that.
All right, everybody. Brandon Tatum making way too much sense for the average.
Seems very clear about what's taking place, what happened, who the murderer was. If there are more people involved or whatever, we have to let them go. And that's the thing, I think B. Tatum said it somewhere else and whatever. And there were a few other people that's talked about this. Actually, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, all the, the people that are now, especially all these conspiracy theorists, for some reason are just like heavily on the right. These are all the people that everybody rooted for. These were all the people that we wanted in these positions because we've been tired of how the way the FBI has been used and the DOJ has been weaponized and everything else to go after political opponents, namely President Trump. And then all of a sudden to have been on that side and then for finally our people to be there inside, and you still have a distrust. And I think that says a lot about the people, much more than what the system is. Now, I ain't gonna lie, what happened before when Biden was the president, it just was what it was. I think it says something about the people and the amount of distrust that's in them and the gravitation that they have towards conspiracy and over fiction over the truth. That's what I honestly believe. Let me know what you guys think about this. Please make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and remember always to serve God or to live trying. I'm out. I don't have to tell you that in our fast-paced lives, we rarely stop to just breathe, to reconnect ourselves with Hashem and with our purpose. And that's why I'm really excited to tell you about Kavana, an incredible new app that helps bring mindfulness and Jewish spirituality into everyday life. It's filled with guided meditations, music, sleep stories, quick 1-minute pauses, and daily inspiration, all designed to help you live with more Kavana, with more intention, more presence, and more meaning. And right here on the Kavana app, I'll be releasing a brand new guided Heat Buddha series, a powerful journey into personal prayer and connection with the Creator. So go download the Kavana app today, sign up, and join me for the course.